right, here now to respond is Saul Anuzis, senior consultant to the National Popular Vote Initiative. Saul, you're an old friend, and it's wild that you're doing this because you and Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg and George Soros's kids are all on the same side. So why did a good Republican from Michigan decide to throw in with all those characters for what, the betterment of the country?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a nuance here in the sense that the Democrats do want to eliminate the Electoral College. There's two proposals out there. One that, as you mentioned, the Democrats have been pushing to eliminate the Electoral College. And then one that I'm proposing and working with, which basically is a bipartisan approach that basically wants to use the national popular vote and keep the Electoral College. So you've got two different proposals that a lot of people confuse all the time.
Right, but you claim you don't want to abolish the Electoral College.
We don't claim it, we just don't.
Well, but the problem is, if states, in your plan, states would have the right not to give their delegates to the person who wins in the state, to the candidate who wins in the state, they would be obligated or could vote for the candidate who won the most popular vote. So, in other words, if Trump wins Texas, then under your plan, if this passed the state legislature in Texas they would say, oh, no, they're all going to go to Kamala Harris.
Right.
How is that fair to the people of Texas?
Well, it's very fair because what happens is we want to make sure that every voter in every state is politically relevant in every election. And under the current system, 4 out of 5 Americans live in flyover states. So today, for all practical purposes, 95 to 90% of all the money is spent in 10 states or less. And we elect basically the president of the battleground states of America versus the president of the United States of America.
Obama got elected twice. What do you mean, the battleground states? He won a fairly broad section of the country.
But it doesn't matter. But look, you and I could sit down within 3 minutes and identify where 40 to 42 states are going to vote in the 2020 election, right? And so both campaigns are going to basically campaign in probably 10 states or less.
But the framers wanted it that way, Saul.
No, the framers did not want it that way. That's just not true.
Okay.
So Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution says the state legislature shall meet. Right. So what they basically said is the state legislatures, in their selfish best interest, will determine how their electors are chosen. And what the framers wanted was a series of white male property owners to sit around a table and decide who the president
is. So we're going back to race.
No, we're not. You said what the framers wanted, right?
No. But
the current system.
Yeah, but that actually is funny that you raised that, because a lot of the people who you claim you're not associated with or you don't really agree with, you're basically, the outcome is going to be the same. It's going to be making the Electoral College null and void.
It's not going to be the same. Look,
okay, if the whole system of Trump would Trump have gotten elected under your plan?
Absolutely. I agree. As President Trump said, he said if it would have been a national popular vote, he would have campaigned around the entire country. President Trump only campaigned in 13 states. Right? So you expect people in the other 30.
Why would anyone campaign in Iowa or in New Hampshire under a national popular vote? The top 4 most populous states in the country are 36% of the population.
So you believe, how about the top 50 cities in the country?
Almost all of them. The top 20 is where all the population
is. So the top 50 make up what percentage of the national popular vote?
It doesn't matter.
Sure it does. If the top 50 cities...
There's a limited amount of time, Saul.
Okay, so the top 50 cities make up 15% of the vote.
Why do you want to disenfranchise
I don't want to
disenfranchise.
I want every voter in every state to be politically relevant and count. Today, if you live in a flyover state...
They're not relevant. They're not politically irrelevant.
Right now, if you live in a... Look, we know today where Utah's going to vote. We know where Oklahoma's going to vote. We know where California's going to vote. We know where Texas is going to vote.
Yeah, because they're conservative states.
So we don't campaign there. So we're not campaigning to them. We're not asking them where they stand on the issues. We don't care about what.
No, because
we pander to the battleground states.
The problem with your argument is the folks who are on your side are all globalists who want to.
It's not true.
Okay.
I mean, Fred Thompson agrees with us. Newt Gingrich agrees with us. Tom Tancredo.
Fred Thompson is dead.
He is. So he did believe in us before he died.
Well, he can't be having an opinion on this.
Well, he had an opinion before he died.
Okay.
That's okay,
but
too.
But the people who are behind the big efforts, the big money efforts, who pays your salary, for instance?
So national popular vote?
Okay, and George Soros's son and daughter's foundation is given to you, correct?
I believe his son's...
$1 million, correct?
His son's
the Tides Foundation, $25,000.
Beyond that, I really don't know.
Steven Silverstein Foundation, $1 million. Who in that group is a conservative?
None of them, but Tom Golisano's, who gave over $10 million, is a conservative, pro-life, anti-tax.
The first guy, the guy who runs it now, Coscos, he's a big liberal, giving $14 million to the Democrats.
Yeah, he's a big liberal.
So you could throw a few.
So just because there's a bunch of liberals,
voices.
But just because there's a bunch of liberals backing it, you think it's a bad idea?
So you actually think people are going to campaign in any more states because of your plan?
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's understanding your distinction.
Well,
the Electoral College will be meaningless Under your, and it
That's
will
just
not.
not true. That's just not true.
And
it's
it
no
will
less
not,
meaningless than it is today.
and it will not withstand constitutional scrutiny. But I'll be looking forward to seeing the
it'll
argument.
be a lot of fun. But you know, I think there's just a lot of misconceptions.
All right. It is misconceptions, but we'll continue to follow it. And I appreciate Saul, an old friend from a long time ago. All right.